Media. Here we bring you the exclusive top news headlines for our viewers today. The top 10 news of the day are: strengthen democracy by casting your vote, says PM to citizens as UP Phase 4 voting begins. COVID, Indian Embassy in US hosts India-US Health Partnership Roundtable Vaccine for All. Bikram Majithia's relief from the Supreme Court ends today. Will have to surrender before the Mohali court. TRSs Surya blames growing Islamic fundamentalism for Harsha's murder in Shivamogga. UN chief says all Russian troops on Ukraine border not peacekeepers, calls for ceasefire. Purulia arms drop case, main accused Kim Devi likely to be extradited to India from Denmark. Oscars 2022. Major Academy Awards might not air live. Canada imposes new sanctions on Russia, dispatching extra 460 troops to Eastern Europe. Japan's Kishida announces sanctions against Russia, urges Putin to return to diplomacy. Australian MP Morrison announces sanctions against Russia over recognition of the LPR and the DPR. Strengthen democracy by casting your vote. PM urges citizens as UP Phase 4 voting begins. With voting underway for the fourth round in Uttar Pradesh Assembly polls, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday urged people to come out and vote. Voting for 59 assembly constituencies spread over 9 districts in Uttar Pradesh began on Wednesday morning. Today is the fourth round of voting in Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections. I request all the voters to contribute in strengthening democracy by casting their valuable votes, PM Modi said in a tweet in Hindi. COVID, Indian Embassy in US hosts India-US Health Partnership Roundtable Vaccine for All. In a bid to combat COVID-19, the Indian Embassy in the United States on Tuesday organized a roundtable on Vaccine for All as part of the India-US Health Partnership. The event was conducted virtually from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. local time. The Ambassador of India to the United States, Taranjeet Singh Sandhu, attended the conference along with Bill Gates, co-chair and trustee Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Swaminathan, the WHO's chief scientist. Bikram Majithia's relief from the Supreme Court ends today. Will have to surrender before the Mohali court. Relief from Supreme Court to the veteran Akali Dal leader Bikram Majithia, who is trapped in a drug case, ended on Wednesday, February 23rd. He will have to surrender before a trial court in Mohali today, after which he can file a petition for the regular bail. The Punjab government had booked Majithia just before elections in a case of international drug conspiracy. The Apex Court had stayed his arrest for contesting the election due to the non-availability of bail in his case. TRSs Surya blames growing Islamic fundamentalism for Harsha's murder in Shivamogga. A day after a Bajrang Dal activist was hacked to death in Karnataka's Shivamogga, Member of Parliament TRSs Surya reached the deceased residence on Tuesday. After meeting the bereaved family, the national president of Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha underlined how the deceased Harsha lived and died for Hindutva. He claimed that growing Islamic fundamentalism in Karnataka had made Harsha a victim. UN chief says all Russian troops on Ukraine border not peacekeepers, calls for ceasefire. A day after Russian President Vladimir Putin instructed troop expansion into the separatist-controlled Donbas region of Ukraine, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Tuesday denounced Moscow's move, saying it is a perversion of peacekeeping. Expressing concern over Russian military and weapons deployment, he also called for immediate ceasefire and restraint, adding that the deteriorating security situation poses a grave threat to Ukrainian sovereignty. He also urged Russia to comply with rules for formal re-establishment of international law. Purulia arms drop case, main accused Kim Devi likely to be extradited to India from Denmark. In a big win for India in Purulia arms drop case, the main accused Kim Devi is now set to be extradited. In an exclusive news break, it has been learned that Kim Devi, who is the main accused in the Purulia arms drop case, will be extradited soon. Denmark has sent its team to Kolkata, India to decide further on repatriation. Oscars 2022 Major Academy Awards might not air live. As the Academy Awards is set to air live in March 2022, the organizers recently unveiled a new set of information regarding the event going on air. It was recently confirmed that numerous Academy Awards categories will not be presented live. According to Variety, this year's Academy Awards event will be more streamlined and television friendly, during which 8 categories will be awarded off-air and will then be edited to the broadcast. Canada imposes new sanctions on Russia, dispatching extra 460 troops to Eastern Europe. In retaliation to Russian President Vladimir Putin's move to recognize the independence of 2 breakaway regions in Ukraine, Canada on Tuesday announced a number of additional sanctions against Moscow. In addition to the new sanctions, the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has authorized the mobilization of 460 Canadian Armed Forces soldiers, which could include the Army, Navy as well as Air Force, to North Atlantic Treaty Organization Eastern Europe mission to reassure partners bordering Russia, CBC News have been reported. Japan's Kishida announces sanctions against Russia, urges Putin to return to diplomacy. Japan Prime Minister Fumio Kishida on Wednesday imposed sanctions on Russia and 2 separatist-controlled regions of Ukraine that were recognized as independent by Russian President Vladimir Putin. The penalties include a ban on issuance and distribution of new Russian government bonds in Japan in response to actions Russia has been taking in Ukraine, PM Kishida said in a statement as quoted by Associated Press. Calling out Russia for unilaterally recognizing the independence of Ukraine's breakaway regions, Luhansk and Donetsk, he also urged Putin to return to diplomatic process in order to resolve the long-standing standoff. Australian PM Morrison announces sanctions against Russia over recognition of LPR and DPR. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison on Wednesday announced targeted sanctions on 8 Russian entities as a retaliation to the Moscow's additional troop deployment along Ukraine's eastern border and Putin's recognition of the independence of Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics. Addressing the cabinet, PM Morrison informed that the sanctions will include travel bans and they would be imposed immediately. He even said that he believes the invasion of Ukraine has effectively already begun. Morrison further warned that the swift and firm sanctions could also exacerbate retaliatory cyber attacks from Russia. Well, this was all about the top 10 news of today. Stay with us, we shall bring you top 10 news every day. This is Aparna Singh reporting for iScope Media.